Hi everybody, welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez.
And I'm Hillary Rodriguez.
And we're continuing our series of the top 50 games of all time that we have played. Not games we don't know anything about. That's a long title, I'll shorten that. Anyway, today, this video, we are doing games 40 through 31. So if you missed our previous 50 through 41, did I say all that right? Maybe. Anyway, go ahead and look back at that. I'll try to provide a link down in the comments. But that way you can keep up with what's going on and all of our crazy thoughts on these games. So without further ado, let's get started.
All right. Little side note, we actually don't know what's on each other's lists,
yes.
so we're surprising ourselves with each other with our lists. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so number 40. My number 40 is Arkham Horror, the card game. And there's so many Arkham Horror games out there that you can pretty much throw a dart and hit one. So I actually prefer the more board game ones, but the card game one is a nice change of pace. It's a little different feel, and it's good for the people that prefer not to prefer the cards over the board game. So, but it's an Arkham game, so you have your big bad mythos character that you're trying to stop, and you have your detectives that you're trying to go around and stop the bad things from happening.
You didn't hear that, did you? Anyway, yeah, if you have hordes of disposable income, Arkham Horror, the living card game, might be for you. If you try to keep up on all those expansions, oh my god. Scary. I've not tried to keep up with it so far. We'll see what happens in the future. It's a big game. Big game. Good game. Big game. Okay. My number 40 is Raiders of the North Sea. It is a worker placement game where you are Vikings trying to impress the Jarl. I believe I'm saying that right. You're a big leader guy. You're trying to impress that person. And it's got a really unique thing where, you put your worker out to do an action, and then you take one back to do another action, which is a little different than any other worker placement game I have played. I really like it. I love the theme. I like going out on raids, and as you progress, older actions sort of end up sort of becoming closed off to you as you get out and do more and more raids. Got cool metal coins. Can't really argue with that as far as components. I like the art. The art's it's just kind of spazzy, to be honest. I mean, that sounds negative. It's not. It's perfect for these, sometimes, psychotic looking Vikings. It's really cool. So, anyway, that is my number 40. Actually, one more thing. Raiders of the North Sea. So, this is one of the games, and it seems like it happens most with worker placement games, that people say, yes, but you absolutely need to have the expansions. I have the expansions, but I haven't played with them yet, and to be honest, I don't think I need to yet. I've yet to find too many games where you actually really, truly need the expansion. It's a good game on its own. If you play it to the point where you're now bored and you need something different, by all means, add the expansions, because, extend the playtime of that game, or not playtime, but your enjoyment of that game, for sure. It doesn't need the expansions. It is a great game on its own. If you get it and it feels too light, go for it. But you're okay even with the base game. So, that is my number 40, Raiders of the North Sea.
Number 39. My number 39 is My First Castle Panic.
Ooh,
yeah. I have a few kid games on my list because we have kids. And so, we got to start them young to enjoy.
Good plan.
They see us playing the games, and a lot of times they want to play with us, and they just are too young to be able to play the games with us. So finding games that are not Candyland, where we actually want to play the games with them, is always fun finds to do. It's a nice simple game. You have your castle on your wall, and you have your heroes that are cards, and you have little trolls or goblins that are working their way down a path to get to your castle. And so you use your hero cards to get rid of the trolls by matching up either the shape or the color of whatever tile on the path they're on to get rid of them. and it's a really easy game to pick up. Our 6-year-old, now 5-year-old, or was 5 when we were playing it, she loves that game, so it's really easy for her to play, and like we don't have to really guide her too much on it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I don't think she fully gets all the strategies yet, but like it's within the realm of what she can actually play and enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Okay, so my 39 is Horrified. This is another cooperative game. In this one, you are villagers. I almost said village people, but that that'd actually be kind of an interesting twist to that if you get. Anyway, you're dealing with some of the universal monsters. So you're Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, all that kind of thing. Mummy. So they're running around town doing whatever it is that they do. They're all kind of different. There are other civilians that are wandering and trying to get to like certain places that you have to keep alive. Every villain you might be going up against has a different way to defeat them, which is kind of cool, and you can adjust the difficulty by how many monsters you put on. We've not tried a 4-monster game, I don't think, and that's scary to even think about. 2 is very manageable, I feel like.
Yeah.
But 4, I can't. That sounds really hard. But
even
it's really
at 2, we've had some close games.
Yeah. It's a really good cooperative game. Not too complicated. Just a really fun time. Good one. Horrified. That is my number 39.
38. My 38 is the DC Comics deck building game. I know a lot of people don't really like it because like they'll compare it to Legendary games, which is another fun deck building game based off of comics. So I know some of the people that, like, the one thing that, I know you have an issue with is that, like, the items that you can pick up, like, other people can use it. So, like, if you're playing as Batman, you can use Wonder Woman's lasso. It is a little weird, but I also just enjoy the game. I like being able to collect the things, and, like I said, I'm a DC person, so I enjoy it.
Yeah, the gameplay is not super tied to the theme, but it's a good solid deck building game for sure. And if you want to play deck builder and see DC heroes, I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. So, okay, so my number 38 is Dice Throne. Season 1, Season 2, basically the same thing but with different characters. It is just a nice, fast playing game where you are rolling dice, trying to get your abilities to go off at your opponent. It can be pretty brutal. They have ways to like stop you, and it's fantastic. All the characters feel kind of different. They're all trying to deal with deal things in different ways. They have different sorts of powers. Some have drawbacks, but are powerful in other ways. Art's fantastic. Really, really like it. I don't think if you like a 2-player like really head to head. A dice battling game, I don't think you can go too wrong with Dice Throne, which is my number 38.
37. This one might surprise you.
Oh.
It's the Arkham Horror 2nd Edition.
I'm leaving. I'm scared. No, I'm not at all. Sorry.
Arkham Horror is the only reason why it's not higher up on my list is because there's a lot more love Arkham Horror games. There's 3rd edition, there's so many, and the 2nd edition is such a big game. It takes forever to set up the game and before you even play it. And then it has a kind of long gameplay too. So again, it's an Arkham game, so you have your bad creatures that are running around trying to get Cthulhu or some big mythos person through a gate, and your investigators or people in the town that are trying to stop it from happening and going around. And a lot of times it's just I think we always end up having it so that we're battling the person and it's to the last turn or two whether we win or lose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think usually it's like I've died and you're standing alone against the big bad, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, it's sort of surprising, but honestly, I'm not sure if 2nd edition made my top 50, which it used to be my number 1 game of all time. So, there you have it. So, anyway, but, yeah, great game. My number 37 is Thunderstone Quest. This is a dice, wow, no it's not. This is it's not a dice anything. This is a deck building game, which has a little bit of a campaign mode to it, where you are adventurers going down in the dungeon, fighting creatures. You can go to the market and do all kinds of stuff. You can recruit other heroes and like get like higher level versions of them. It's, your typical high fantasy theme. I don't know that the campaign storyline is like super amazing, honestly, on its own. Like I usually am kind of reading out loud, and even I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And I like story stuff too, but it's still cool, and really, I feel like it's just very different from other deck builders we have. Even though, like, I guess functionally it's kind of not. I don't know. Just like you're getting these heroes, and then when you can get the higher level version of them, I don't know. I dig it. It feels like I'm. What's that?
You're rambling.
You leave me alone, lady. Anyway, you feel like you're leveling up. You feel like you're adventuring. Kind of. It's cool. It's just a good deck building game. Leave me alone. 37. Thunderstone Quest. God. So hard.
36. My 36 is Port Royal, which was your number 40...
50.
Or 50?
Yeah.
All right.
Barely made it.
So, if you didn't watch the first video, go watch it. No, it's a fun deck building game, placement. You have your roll cards, and if it's your turn, you pick what you want, and then other players can pick, but they have to pay you. And it's just the first to get to a certain amount of points wins. It's just a fun, quick game, so.
Okay. My number 36 is... There's another long one. Vampire the Masquerade Rivals Expandable Card Game. Okay, now I need to rest. I'm going into torpor. Haha, do you get that? Then you know about this game. Anyway, this is actually one of our reviews too. Please go watch it. It's my most watched video so far. That means it's great. The internet is never wrong. I do like that video, but still. Cool game. Where you play as a clan of vampires. You're going to feed off of humans in the city, which will sometimes give you power or heal you. You're trying to gain the most influence. Everyone else is trying to stop you, depending on how many players you have. Like, someone might be my enemy, but, like, their enemy is someone else, and it's all crazy, and you get bonus points if you defeat your enemy. Kind of a longer game. I think it benefits highly if you can really devote yourself to that game a lot, because you really want to design your own deck. You play the decks right out of the box, and that's cool. I think you really want to design your decks, especially if you're playing two-player. You need to not use the ones right out of the box. Well, I mean, use them, but once you get the hang of it, don't. For two-player. But, really good. It's destined to have a horde of expansions because there are a lot of vampire clans in Vampire the Masquerade. I love the setting. I love vampires. Yeah, it's great. I wish I had more time to devote to it, but it is fantastic, I think. Number 36, Vampire the Masquerade Rivals Expandable Card Game.
Do you need a break now?
I do need a break. That's okay, I'll keep going. I'm good. Number
35. My number 35 is Cthulhu Death May Die. It's a board game that has models with it, and depending on where you go, the board game has tiles, so the room will change, and again, you're trying to stop Cthulhu or all these mythos creatures. So we have a lot of those games. We like them.
We do. I love it. I love going crazy. Okay. So my number 35 was is Kemet. I don't have the new version that just I think are getting Kickstarter people now, but I have the original, and it's a really great troops on a map game set in kind of mythological Egypt. You have a whole bunch of cool cards you can get that'll give you abilities. You can control monsters. You're going around fighting each other. You have to fight. You can't play purely defensive. You have to go out and smash each other to try to eventually get however many victory points, I don't recall. But quite a few. And just a really fun game. And I feel like it's not too hard to actually get a grip on once you play a couple turns. Really good. I don't know how the new one is different, if it's different very much at all. But the original, Kemet, can't go wrong. That's my 35.
All right, number 34. My number 34 is 5 Minute Marvel. It's a fun, quick game. Each round is 5 minutes, not the whole game, but each round. If I remember correctly, it's 6 rounds? 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah, something like that.
So, with the time in between each round, you can play it within 30 minutes. So, it's really fast-paced. You have your villain card, and then you have your decks. You play as certain Marvel characters. And so most of the decks are the same, but then you have a few, like you have like a standard deck, and then you have your character deck that you can pull from. And so you're just trying to defeat the villains by matching up the right color combos, and try and do it within the time frame. There's a cool app that has a timer. You can use this regular timer, but the app has a special Jarvis timer, and has some background music, and so it kind of adds to the feel and kind of adds to the pressure. We have some friends that got it. We took over to their place, and they loved it. They got it. They played it with their kids, and they actually played it so much that they kind of burned out on it. But it's one of those games where I think it's really fun, and it's, like you can even not play all rounds and just in between games be like, oh, let's just play a quick, couple of through a couple of the villains here.
Yeah, it's definitely fun and high fun but high stress too. You're like, oh god, yeah. All right, it's fun. Okay, my number 34 is I share in common with your number something. Atlantis Rising. Great co-op game. The island is shrinking or sinking as you go on, so you have to be really careful about where you have your characters, but usually those good rewards are on those like far out areas that might be the next to sink, and you're trying to build your machine or whatever that's going to like teleport you somewhere to safety, because you're defying the gods, and that's why you're sinking. Really cool, really pretty game, I think. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Great co-op with good intensity with that island constantly shrinking. So that is my 34, Atlantis Rising.
Okay. All right. Number 33. My number 33 is Baby Dragon. Is that
Baby Dragon Bedtime?
Yes, Baby Dragon Bedtime. It's a really cute little card game that's really good for kids. There's a couple different modes that you can play it, and then they have some like extra cards you can add to it as your kids learn it more. And our kids really enjoyed it a lot. We have a 10-year-old, and they're now 11 and 6 when we got it and started playing with it. They were 10 and 5. The 5-year-old, she can't read the card. She couldn't read the cards, but she could look at the cards and know, like, okay, that's what that means. And so after just a couple of playing it, she can sit down and play it without us telling her what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Our 10-year-old was constantly screaming, I hate it. Well, she didn't actually hate it. She actually was enjoying it, but because she was like stressed out trying to get what she needed, it was kind of funny, but good, really good game.
Her saying I hate it was like how we normally will yell at each other in a stressful game. Like,
yeah.
I hate you!
Yeah,
Stop it!
Exactly. I'm glad he said it in the game. I was like, I don't remember our life being that rough, but maybe. Okay. Excuse me. My 33, is Res Arcana, which is a really pretty engine building game where you're going to have a certain, you're a mage, I believe, and you going with a certain school of magic, and you're trying to like build up like or gain control of like. I wish I could remember any of the vocabulary in this game. Features in the land, you're trying to get various kinds of items that'll let you do more things. There's dragons, all kinds of cool stuff. My only complaint about it is that it's, I always feel like, oh God, I just wanted to do a few more things, always. And it just doesn't go that incredibly long, which is also, it's positive in a way. Although you can end up with a lot of tiles. I seem to remember having a lot of like, the cards, and I'm like, I don't even know where to put all these now because you had so much stuff. But really fun, cool theme, beautiful art. Really good, yeah, really good deck builder. I would definitely recommend it if you want a deck builder that's fairly quick. That is a Res Arcana, which is my 33.
32. My 32 is the Funkoverse games, which was already on your list. So, if you are a fan of pretty much anything, there's a version of it out there for you.
Yeah.
It's just a fun, pretty quick game. Little miniature game. The play is pretty quick. The board's pretty small. And like, it's just kind of fun to think of these characters actually fighting each other. Golden Girls versus Batman, Harley versus a raptor. There's one game where we were just playing with the Batman version, but like Harley just did a whole bunch of things and just knocked out a whole bunch of people, and Batman couldn't do anything. Yeah. And it was just kind of fun to visualize.
Wasn't Batman like the least effective person in that whole game?
Yeah, he was the least effective.
And like Harley was just stomping everyone into dirt. It was pretty good.
It was a fun game.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 32 is Crimes in History, H.H. Holmes' Murder... Nope. H.H. Holmes' Murder Castle. We're both big true crime fans, and the story of H.H. Holmes is berserk. If you have not read that, if you're interested in true crime, if you're not familiar, oh man, look it up. It's the weirdest.
I don't know how you're not familiar if you like true crime.
It's so, I almost feel like, I always call him like a real life Batman villain because it's such a bizarre story. But anyway, in this particular one, you play as people that have some association with H.H. Holmes, and so you're going back into his murder castle to try to collect evidence to make sure that the cops know that you are not actually on his side. He is wandering around the castle, doing all kinds of things. If he catches you, you have to drop some of your evidence. He doesn't outright kill you. It's up there somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, you have different characters. Each has different abilities. You can create, trapdoors in places. It's got a cool little Ferris wheel kind of thing too for like which types of evidence you put out. Because I think there's 4 or 5 different types, and they're all just different colors. And you'll put them out on the board in certain circumstances. But really cool game. It's not like super deep or anything, but fun. Despite the theme, I almost still feel like it's sort of just this weird lighthearted game. Yeah. Lighthearted game about murder. A lot of murder that really happened. Look it up. It's fascinating. Seriously, look up the game too. But I mean, look up H.H. Holmes. It's real weird. So anyway, that's my number 32. Crimes in History, H.H. Holmes' Murder Castle. All these long titles.
You have a very long...
I know. I could have said Murder Castle.
Yeah. All right. 31. My 31 is Arkham Horror, The Final Hour. So another Arkham game on my list. It's a really nice shortened down version of a lot of the Arkham Horror games. So if you like the Arkham Horror games, but you don't want to play a 4-hour game, this is a good one. It's basically taking one of those games and you're basically just playing that last section of the game. So it's a really tough game because you're basically thrown right into the middle of all the chaos has happened. The big bad is out, and now you have to stop it. So it's a hard game, but it's a fun game, and it's a quick Arkham Horror game. So
yeah, it's a good way to get your Cthulhu fix when you, like you said, you don't have hordes of time to do it. Why are they all so long? I don't know. Anyway, my number 31 is Clank, a deck building adventure. I've not tried Clank in Space or Clank Legacy, but original Clank, the fantasy one, really cool. I mean, I love deck building in general. It's probably my favorite mechanic that's out there. But it's, very push your luck. You're trying to get down in the dungeon to get the most stuff, but then, once someone leaves the dungeon or after a certain point, it starts becoming dangerous for you to be there, and suddenly you have to get out. And if you're not careful, you will make noises, which can wake the dragon, and the dragon can hurt you. And there's so many things where it's like, oh, is this worth the risk? It's all like, is this worth the risk? Should I do this thing that will benefit me if I can get away with it? Really cool. I love thinking about the dungeon crawl kind of situation. Yeah, Clank does it real well. It's a fun one. And yeah, combining dungeon crawling with my favorite mechanic, I mean, you can't go wrong. So, my 31, Clank, a deck building adventure.
And that was 31 through 40.
Yeah, we did it. Only 30 more to go. Anyway, so we'll get to the next 10, obviously, in our next top 10 video. Wouldn't it be weird if we jumped around? We're not going to do that.
Number 12.
Yeah, number 12, number 36, Anyway, so we'll get to that hopefully soon. If you found this video interesting or helpful or fun, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know the next time I put a video up. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you around the table again at All Games New and Old. Bye.
Bye.
Yep, we'll get to that soon. If you like this video, please hit like and I guess I'm going to do blooper reels on this too. I wasn't thinking I was going to, but I guess I'm going to.